Hello everybody, my name is JacktheGoddess, and today I'm going to be rebuilding this destroyed Minecraft base. My goals for this build are work off of the design that I think it originally had, recycle some resources from the surrounding areas or destroyed bases, and add a new room that would complement the rest of the build. Oh, and if you want to see how I went from this to this, please watch until the end. The first few things I had to do was break out of this dirt prison, assess the house's damage, gather wood to rebuild, and then it's finally time to really get started. First thing I got around to was to clean up some wool and general landscape stuff. I didn't want to look at the land around this house as time passed, so pretty early on I wanted to clean up the landscape and make it seem like it was somewhat managed, but I also kept working on it periodically instead of all at once. I also knew pretty early on food was gonna be tough to get, considering I hadn't seen any mobs yet. Next, I made some ladders to get to the upstairs I hadn't even seen. It is kind of weird that there isn't a way up already though. You know, it was probably just like destroyed somewhere along the way. The upstairs had a loom, which was kind of weird, but I decided to use that for the build later. The old owner must have been some sort of banner maker, considering all the wool outside. The second floor was in some pretty rough shape, like the rest of the house, but after I looked around the second floor, I decided to get some extra cobblestone, because the base layer and the roof were all made of cobblestone. Also, tools are cool too. Tried sleeping, but forgot there were other people online that also had to sleep. I'm pretty used to single player. And when I hopped out, I immediately fell to my death. But hey, I learned there was keep inventory, but also that the bed doesn't set your spawn, and neither does the /set home feature. So that's fun. Anyways, next I needed more birch wood because the original flooring was made of birch, but the only trees I could find were claimed by the neighbor. Oh hey, iron. Instead of going down and mining for coal, I noticed one single coal ore right next to the weird trench adjacent to the house, so I continued past the obsidian wall and saw some more. Man, what a wondrous world we live in. Fun fact, I actually use mostly random materials I found above ground for most of the house's random additions later in the video. After I start smelting, I patch up some holes in the wall and roof to start the real rebuilding process. There. It looks significantly better than it did before, which is kind of insane because it was just a little bit of attention and that could do a lot. Next thing I do is I go back outside and plant the birch and oak saplings I got earlier. I'm gonna need the birch for the flooring because there aren't really any around, like I've mentioned. After that, I clean up the ground a bit more. Where did they get all of this purple concrete? From there, I started to make a space for the flooring to be placed. That rhymed, oh my god. And an area to start the foundation. For some reason, there was this dead coral block with the flooring. It wasn't buried or anything. I guess I just didn't see it going in. As I was destroying the old walls, I noticed that there was a double layered wood for some reason. Some people build totally weird stuff, but it's still just so cool to see what other people can do. Next thing was to get rid of this lava. So I climbed up there and blocked up the source. Then I died. Once I came back, I got rid of the bottom layer of wood to replace with cobble and moved the ladder to go back upstairs. Once up there, I wanted to finish up the flooring because that was the biggest part that looked off. But I noticed that they were made of slabs, which is awesome because slabs save materials so much. So I kept the slabbing going and ripped out the old floor and replaced it with some slabbage. After that, I patched up some pieces of the downstairs and got it prepped to put the cobble in. And once it looked a lot closer to being a normal Minecraft house. Haha, JK. I didn't do that yet, but I did explore and found some birch logs surrounding one obsidian block. Anyways, after I got back home, I started to break some dirt so I could eventually get some cobble put there, but I found some water under the wall, so naturally I investigated it, and it turned out to be an infinite water source. That's super interesting to me, mostly because I have a river not too far away. With that water, I tried to lava cast, so I climbed up the lava pole with the water, and then forgot my current goal, so I hopped onto the roof, and oh, hey wait, I accidentally turned the lava into obsidian. Whoops. Oh well, the time has finally come. The cobble I keep talking about, it isn't even like a huge thing. Whatever. Bam! Cobblestone. Not all of it, but some of it. I immediately went down into this weird mine to get more once I ran out. I'm learning priorities. So now that all the cobblestone is placed, it looks like a real livable Minecraft house. Kind of. Once I placed all the cobble, I lit it up and headed back out to patch up the ground surrounding the house. Also, side note, I claimed the house just so while I build it, nobody trashes it. Next, I finished patching up the floor on the second story. With that done, the only thing to really get fixed is the roof. And while I was doing that, I thought maybe I should make a bay window on the second story, which I start and don't continue for a long time. Next, I noticed the birch tree I planted grew up, so I chopped it down and went to work on the flooring. So I dug out the ground to eventually place some new flooring in. But to my surprise, there was a stairway down into the ground that I completely forgot about. A bit shook, I climbed out and continued digging. Once that was done, the flooring went in. Most of it, anyway. Once I ran out of wood, I went out to look for more and saw some on the wall and thought, maybe there's more around the area.
Obviously not in tree form like I want.
Oh wait, no. I can cut this one down. That's new. Going off to explore some of the surrounding area, I looked up to see a watermelon, which is dope, because I'm about to starve to death. I grab it and turn it into seeds. Then I completely forget to replant them for a long time. Instead, I worked on the floor a bit more and gave it an entryway and a neat step down. Once I ran out of birch, again, I went exploring for some more and found this strange staircase of random blocks and it had birch on it, so I borrowed some. And after I got a few, I saw a giant gaping hole in the ground. Of course, I swam into it. Wouldn't you? It was pretty useless and basically completely dry, so I just went back home. With the birch I acquired legitimately, the entry was finished, for now. Once I felt alright with that decision, I went on to start some interior decorating. First, a nice little table and chairs. Sitting is enabled on the server, so it is kind of nice to have. Next, I started working on a bay window to let some light in, but I realized halfway through I had no sand, so I went out to the river and grabbed some. Just by the way, server lag is heavy out here. On the way back home, I looked down and saw some endstone, so I took it and I'll use it later for something.
Ignore the piles behind me.
Once I was back, I made the window go out a bit more than it was before and cooked the glass. I tried to use full glass blocks, but ew. So I replaced it with panes and changed the shape a bit. Next, I need more birch because I kind of ran out, but remembered I double layered the entry. With the floor patched up, I made a counter space to make it feel more homey, but I wasn't really feeling it. I decided to move on and realized I still don't have a front door, which is abysmal. My plan is to get the same door as the one on the side that I put in. So I'm setting my home and going out to find some spruce trees. Random teleporting is a godsend, let me tell you. My very first teleport, I ended up in a desert, which was bad, but directly behind me on the water was a house, a beautiful house, which wasn't claimed. That is super surprising, honestly. Something I wasn't surprised about though is the chests were all empty, or so I thought.
Whoa! 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 Alright, what are the rules? It looks like no rules. Fuck it. Wow. Why isn't this claimed? Food.
Oh no.
Whatever. Oh my god, this server's so laggy. Oh, this is weird that it's not like a thing anymore. There are signs here. I think they're trying to say take care of this place. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it from here. Whoever lives here or lost their house here, whatever. Yeah, I got what I wanted.
Anyway, now that I was back home with all the resources I really needed, I went crazy and made a spruce table for contrast. I think that's the word I want. Anyway, I also closed up the house finally. Next, I took down the old pillar the lava was flowing off of, and touched up the roof a bit while I was up there, and then just some general landscaping. As soon as I filled up the side door area, I realized it looked kinda cramped if I went outside of the door, so I decided to make a small porch. I think it really helps the outside. Moving back to the inside, I added a smoker and chests under the counter, and started questioning.
So what's a good, like, when you get into the place, what should be over here?
I think you should have a window. You don't have too many windows.
I have this big one and this small one, like right next to the this.
I'm a big fan of windows.
I am too, but I tried it and it just doesn't look good to me. Maybe I could do one over here. Oh my god. Yeah, I guess a big window right here wouldn't hurt.
Continuing with the design of the other bay window.
Fuck, dude, that one birch wood would have been perfect. Nobody'll notice.
I was finished. I think it looks okay. Oh, also, here's another overhang for the side door.
Bro, fucking look at this. I'm danking with it.
So with all that done, I asked the builder that made the design for the train station in my 1.2 video if he had any ideas for the interior, and of course he did. He essentially just said, ew, and made it way nicer without actually changing the base structure. Once he showed me the finished product, I got to work on grabbing resources, but the river next to my house didn't have the numbers I needed, so I went exploring. I found quite a few bases while I explored for more clay. I'd like to go over them all, but it's kind of boring, so I'll skim over them using some music. Here we are, the sea, I think. Anyway, I started gathering what I needed and almost drowned. A few times. As soon as I got 8 stacks, I headed back home and started smelting. I decided to use the random stone brick box building for it. Oh, and I ran out of coal to use, so that's great. So I went on the hunt to get some more. I went to an old mine that might have had it, just not enough. Then I RTP'd to grab some more elsewhere, and found a crazy mine, and eventually a ravine. I grabbed what I needed and got out. Now that it's all smelting, all you have to do now is play the waiting game. Oh, and while we wait, I might as well demolish the roof, considering it's the biggest change between Libs and the original. Alright, now with the old roof gone, it's time to kind of refinish some details, like the overhangs above the windows and the doors. Instead of blending with the house, Lib wanted it to be a better accent than, you know, nothing. So spruce is the way to go. After that, I resized some of the windows to make it more open looking. From there, I kind of started digging down to make our final room, but we shouldn't worry about that quite yet. Next, I made the bones of the new roof. It was quite the process, but I think it's good enough for now. So after reviewing the design Lib gave me, I had to expand the first bay window I had made and the one above it. But when I was done with that, I finished up the roof skeleton. Part of the roof is this like overhang that droops, and I was super afraid of messing it up and not being able to fix it, but it did turn out pretty nice, so whatever. After the base was set, I filled in the empty space with all the bricks I had made earlier. I thought it was going to be close, but no, I had just enough with quite a few to spare after the roof was completed. Now it's time for the interior. The first floor was finished with basically no problems, which was super nice. I started with the table, but after the initial table was made, I needed a second item frame, so I explored around to find some materials.
Mine. This is so cool. Just like random little places. How'd you find chickens? Oh! Not what we're looking for, but it's useful for later. Ooh, perfect. Oh, these guys are my saviors. Great. Yes! This was a way more useful find than I thought, and I'm pretty sure they might have something to do with why it was destroyed. Ooh, I forgot to grab these earlier from that first place, because I didn't know I would need books. I should really just explore more. I feel like I'd get every resource that This isn't even, like, far.
Next was the carpet, which was also a lot of exploring, so I'll skip ahead to the rest of the room. Next, there are a couple bookcases I need for the build, so I decided, why not go back to the floating house from earlier? It gave me cords when I teleported, so I just headed over. It wasn't actually that far. Once inside, I looked in the chest again to see if I was forgetting anything from the last time I was here, and continued upstairs. It was all still there. Amazing. So I got completely distracted and grabbed all the flowers I could for the second floor's design. And there we have it. The first floor is finished.
Oh yeah, looking nice. Nice as hell down here.
First things first, there are 2 rooms upstairs, a basic entry and the banner room. To start with, I made sure the ceiling looked up to par, so I added some spruce stairs, and once that was done, it's time to actually decorate. I added a pillar and some lighting, and then placed the original loom I had, then some storage. Next, looking at Liv's build, he placed some signs over the stairs, so I did that. Now for the banners, which took a lot longer than I thought it would have. Here's a quick edit of me placing them as I get them. So I asked a few players on the server if they have any dye or something close to what I need, and to my surprise, this guy Nugget1337, if you're seeing this, you were very helpful. He gave me some cacti for half a stack of iron, which in the long run is much more valuable to me. So that cacti that he gave me wasn't actually enough, and I had to get more dyes, and what do you know, I ended up next to a flower forest. See, it's kind of, messed up. Anyway, I got what I could and went back to working on the banners. Next, I asked around for some ink sacs because I don't want to explore for squids. Anyway, she responded, surprisingly.
She immediately told me to TPA, so...
Yeah,
this is gonna be great, guys.
I wouldn't do that if
That's
I was
too
me,
late.
though.
It's too late.
Hey, listen,
oh, I'm
it's
so
just
scared.
me.
I'm so scared. Oh man, I'm so scared. I feel she's wearing full netherite. I'm so scared.
I'm trying to get the hang of this. Immediately just like messes it up.
and offered me a stack of ink for literally any amount of oak planks, which is very generous, but I'm personally not a monster and I know how servers can be, so I chopped down about a stack and some change of oak logs. Once I got the logs, I teleported to her and we traded, but halfway through, her friends kind of surrounded me and I got scared and left before getting the whole stack. Oh well. I got way more than I needed to anyway.
Thank you.
So very soon after, I found out that I have most of the dyes I need to make one of the banners. Now it's just a waiting game. Somewhere in that waiting process, I figured out how to buy and sell from a server marketplace, and so I bought some sugarcane because that's what you do on economy servers, and I never really use it for anything useful after that. Now there's one thing left to do upstairs, and that's the green banner and carpet, which we're gonna have to wait on because cactus grows very, very slowly, and I don't have time for that. Now I move downward to the final part of the house, the wine cellar. I've been in real wine cellars, and this is more of a distillery than a cellar, although it does come with the tasting area, so that's nice. Definitely the most annoying part of the build was the stairs going into the cellar. It's all just cobblestone slabs and stairs. It's just so confusing. Next, I start digging out the general first area where all the wine barrels will be, and add in the flooring from the materials I already have on me. With the flooring in the first half of the cellar done, I install everything I need to, turn on the levers to make it seem like it's ready to pour, and now we're ready to start excavating the second half of the room. As I'm digging out all the dirt, the old water source pond is draining directly down into here. So I covered it up with slabs just so it can kind of stay there. Next, I placed the ceiling and sized the room a few times. After that, I started placing the walls, but ran out of stone brick and decided to decommission that weird square building with the furnaces, you know the one, and use that to make all the walls downstairs. Then I put in the flooring and lit it up. Next is the tabletop in the middle of the room. Only problem is I was out of spruce wood. That said, I did have a giant spruce tree in my yard, so I cut that down and made it into the table. Last thing to do is the downstairs carpet and then the second floors. I had enough to get about half of the downstairs one done, but that obviously wasn't enough. So the plan is explore the area around me to find some more wool or carpet. I'll take either, honestly, but all seemed lost and I had only found 3 blocks of wool. Although, when I was exploring a claimed base, I did finally find some blue carpet. This is perfect. I need this for the attic. I was also pretty surprised to see it wasn't claimed, and it was enough for what I needed. Later, I found some white carpet, which is fine. Next, once I was kind of desperate, I decided to RTP and explore some more for some more resources.
This is the opposite of lucky. Oh my god. I just realized I could just take this. This is fine now. Oh man, no wool though. Sorry, whoever's thing that is. Whoa, okay. Bye. Oh my god. Oh! Okay, well, I guess I did get lucky, just not in the stuff that I wanted. Oh, but I could probably sell these blaze rods, actually.
Now with all the new money we have from selling a stack of blaze rods, we can finally get some more wool. And just like that, bam, the wide cellar has a carpet, and bam, so does the upstairs. Here are a couple overhead shots of the inside and outside of the house. Thank you so much for watching. This video was a lot of fun to make, and it was definitely a lot harder than I expected it to be. Oh, and hey, since you made it this far, how about you subscribe? No, that's okay. Have a great day anyway, and if you like this, you'll definitely like my last video where I'm playing Minecraft version 1.2.